Bon dia, welcome to the first lesson of Catalan from scratch. In the first lesson, you will learn about the articles in Catalan. I thought it would be a good idea to start with the articles instead of, common first lessons related to vocabulary in general, like the alphabet, the numbers, days of the week, colors. I thought it would be more interesting if you learn simple vocabulary as you learn grammar. So that is why we are starting with grammar. I think it's more efficient if you know how to make sentences, and by learning that, you are also learning vocabulary. So let's just start. In Catalan, there are three types of articles. The first one are definite articles, secondly indefinite articles, and lastly personal articles. In Catalan you say articles definits, articles indefinits, and articles personals. We will take a look first at the definite articles. These are the ones that you use when you want to refer to specific things. In English, we use the article the, the, but in Catalan, it depends on the gender and the number of the word that they are referring to. So for feminine and singular words, you use la, or an L with an apostrophe. So if you want to say the woman, you say la dona. If you want to say the salad, you say la amanida. For plural, you use las donas, las amanidas. For masculine, instead of la, you say el gos, and l'home. For singular, as you can see, you also use an apostrophe in some cases. I will explain where you should use apostrophes later on, don't worry about that. So lastly, for masculine and plural words, you use the definite article els gossos, els homes. Now let's talk about a little bit. Let's talk about the apostrophe a little bit. This, in case of articles, you will only find this in the definite ones. So when the word linked to the article starts with a vowel or an H, then you use the apostrophe. The H is not pronounced in Catalan, and after an H you will always have a vowel if the H is the first letter of the word. So instead of saying la amanida, you say la manida. Why? Well, because you are linking the two vowel sounds together. This is not an option, by the way, as you can see on your right with those red letters. This is not an option, it's rule. So you have to follow this rule. Okay, otherwise you are making a mistake when spelling. For masculine words, you also use this. Actually, you always use this for masculine words. Instead of saying al ama, you say lama. Now there are some exceptions. There are always exceptions to everything, and apostrophes are not an exception to that. The most common exception, and the one that you have to remember the most, I would say, is that for feminine words, and this only applies for feminine words, if you say la and then the word starts with an unstressed I-U, H-I or H-U, then you don't use apostrophe. For example, la universitat, la idea, la hiena. Universitat starts with a U, idea starts with an I, and hiena starts with an H-I. Now, that's not the only condition. As you can see, it also has to be unstressed. For example, in the word universitat, the stressed syllable is the last one, tat. You say universitat. For idea, the stressed syllable is the idea. Same thing for iana. So in these cases, you don't use apostrophe. The next exception are letters, la esa, la h, la ena, which means the s, the h, and the n. Third rule, and very specific, is when telling the time and you want to say 1 o'clock. You say la una, not luna. And then in some very, very concrete cases, in order to avoid confusion, you don't use it. A very clear example, I think, it's la asimetria. If you were to use apostrophe, it would sound like la simetria, which means the symmetry, but you're actually referring to the complete opposite. You want to say the asymmetry, so you don't use apostrophe, and so you mark that difference, la asimetria. Now, the second type of article is the indefinite one, articles indefinits. You use this one when you want to refer to an element inside a group, but not an element in specific, just any. In English, basically, you would use an a. So instead of saying a woman, you say una donna. This is for feminine words in singular form. Una donna, una amanida. Now, there are no apostrophes here. However, when you pronounce una amanida, you don't say it separately. You say una amanida. But you write it separately. No apostrophes. And for plural is unas. Unas donas, unas amanidas. For masculine words, the singular form is un gos, un home. And for plural, uns gossos, uns homes. Third case are the personal articles. Yes, in Catalan, you use articles for first names. This can be very weird for many people, I understand, because it's really odd sounding in many languages. For example, in English, if your name is Patrick, then the translation would be that you are referred to as the Patrick, okay? But this is very normal in Catalan. So the articles are also la, las, al, and als, following the same pattern as definite articles. However, there are specific personal articles for the singular form, and those are na and an. In some cases, they can sound more formal, especially if the name starts with a vowel or an H. For example, you can see Anna. If you use the form na, which is also, you also have to use an apostrophe because it starts with a vowel, then it's nana. It is quite formal in standard Catalan. However, if I'm not mistaken, I think in the Balearic Islands, this is the only way you use it. If the name starts with a consonant, technically the correct way to say it is also with na or an. So if your name is Nuria, you would be referred to as Nanuria. However, it can sound formal for some people, so I think it's perfectly fine if you say La Nuria, or in masculine, Al Jordi, instead of An Jordi. It's not the same type of formality compared to other cases where some formal ways to say things are barely used. I think this is fairly used around Catalan-speaking territories. I use it quite often, so don't be afraid to use these pseudo-formal forms. La Núria, Nanuria, Lana, Nana, Al Jordi, An Jordi, L'Oriol, Nuriol. Plural is a weird case because you seldom use plural personal articles, but if you were to say it, then you would use the definite articles las and als. So I thought it would be good to give you some examples so that you see how you use these articles in normal sentences. These are fairly simple sentences. En Joan parla amb una dona. Joan talks with a woman. So as you can see, Joan starts with a consonant, and therefore you use an as a personal pronoun. As I said, it would be okay if you said al Joan, but it would sound a bit more informal. Then you're not referring to a specific woman, so instead of saying the woman, you say a woman. So in Catalan you say una dona. L'Ariadna passeja els gossos. Now in this case, as you can see, Ariadna starts with an A, with a vowel, so you use an apostrophe, l'Ariadna. And in this case, you are referring to a specific group of dogs. So instead of saying uns gossos, which would be indefinite, you say els gossos, which is definite, the dogs. You know which dogs you are referring to. Third example, l'Albert obre uns regals. Albert opens some presents. Now you're not specifying which presents you're opening or Albert is opening, so you use the indefinite article uns. And this is for masculine word, regals is a masculine word, and it's plural. As you can see, I used the translation some in English. However, I am not very satisfied with the translation. I don't think there is an exact translation for plural and indefinite articles in English. If you were to use one, it would be some. However, some can be mistaken for an amount, as in for a few. As you can see, I wrote it as well. Uns, the indefinite article uns in plural, does not refer to a specific amount, like saying some and a few. It is referring to a group, any group in a bigger one, but is not an amount. However, I think some is the closest translation there can be. So we have seen some new words in this video. I decided to make a list of some of the words so that you, as I said, so that you can learn vocabulary as we go. I'm going to pronounce it so that you can get used to how it sounds, how different sounds are in Catalan, and so on. So if you want to say a woman, you say dona. Man is home. Dog is gos. Salad is amanida. To talk is parlar. To take a walk is passejar. To open is obrir. And presents is regals. If you want to know how to say present in singular, then just remove the S. Regal. And this is the best part for many if you like homework. These are some examples that you can fill. I will give you the solutions on the next video so that you know if you're right or not. However, you can ask me before, or you can ask me any doubts, or maybe you want some more examples. I can give you more examples. You just have to fill the blanks with the right article. Just look at the gender, look at the number. Also keep in mind that might be a first name, so you have to follow the rules for personal pronouns and so on. So, Aina mira gats, Lleó juga amb zebres, Carles vol videojocs, dones demanen sopa. You see how next to words that we haven't seen, I have specified which gender it is, because it is important to know, because the article depends on the gender. so you shouldn't have a problem with these if you follow my explanations. And that's it. I hope you liked it. If you have any doubts, maybe I missed something, can happen, or if something wasn't very clear, let me know. I will be happy to help you. In the next video, the next lesson, I will give you the solutions for the exercises like I said. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you want more. If you know someone that might be interested in learning Catalan, please share this video. And that is everything. Thank you so much, and adeu-siau.